Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm taking a look at the Enya Music Nova Go Sonic guitar. This thing is really fun for a number of reasons, but the big thing about it is it has a built-in speaker and amplifier. You have amp models and digital effects built in, which means you can, as the name implies, take this thing on the go and play it anywhere. What I've really enjoyed about having this guitar with me for the last couple of weeks is it's caused me to practice and play more because I don't have to worry about plugging into an amp, putting on headphones, hooking up cables if I'm doing recording, none of that. Just grab it and go. And you can also stream music through this because it's Bluetooth enabled. It's just such a fun instrument to play. So up front, this is not a sponsored video. I'm not getting paid to do this, but Enya Music did send me this guitar to review and demo, but the opinions are my own. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the features of this guitar. Okay, so first and foremost, you have the speaker. That's kind of the star of the show. That's what makes this different from other guitars on the market. To be perfectly honest, when I first saw this, I looked at it and thought, this seems like a bit of a novelty. It's probably cool, a fun little practice tool, fun at parties kind of thing. Didn't know really how seriously to take it. I can happily say that it's really exceeded my expectations in terms of, it's just fun. If there's one word I'm going to use to describe this guitar, it's just really fun. So I'll let you hear a little bit of how it sounds. I'm just going to let the mics in the room pick up the sound and let you hear what it sounds like. It's not a 4x12. It's a small speaker and a guitar. So temper your expectations. But for what it is, I think it sounds really good. Enough talking. Here's some clean sounds. Now, you can have basically, and we'll get to the app in a little bit, but you can have, there's 4 banks, 4 presets per banks. This knob here is what you use to turn on and off the guitar, to pair it. Also, it is a volume control for the effects. And if you tap it, it'll cycle through presets, which is pretty cool. So I've got one that's a little bit dirtier. A little bit dirtier. And then a little bit dirtier. So pretty good range of tones, to be honest. Application-wise, this is a fantastic practice instrument. And you really do. The first time I hit a chord, I'm turning around. Where's the amplifier? I've been getting the sensation of, having an amplifier playing through. Now, again, it's not going to sound like a tube combo or something that's 50, 100 watts, but it's not supposed to, But it does sound really good for what is, in my opinion, again, for what it is, it sounds really good. The accompanying app lets you program your own presets and dial things in and so forth. As far as applications go, I could see this obviously being a fun grab and go, have this in your living room, sitting out on the porch, where, an acoustic would be fun, but maybe you want to jam and have, play the electric guitar and not have to bring an amplifier out. And it feels really strange and quite liberating to have, electric guitar sounds and not have to be plugged into anything. That is really fun, really cool. Another thing that would be fun if you're doing a, basically a low volume practice. I've had times before where, the band gets together, we're not setting the drums up, we're just kind of working over songs, maybe working on some harmony parts. And typically, we just grab some acoustic guitars and it's fine. But I can see this being a lot of fun to have in that environment where we can actually work out and I could practice leads in the songs we're doing without having to do them on an acoustic, which is not, sometimes it's not the same thing. So we get a more authentic practice experience in a small setting with us all sitting around, on the sofa, jamming out and learning parts. This is going to be my go-to thing for that because it's just perfect for that. I can also see it being really good as a songwriting tool. Again, you can have an acoustic without having to plug in, but I find I write differently on an acoustic versus an electric. They play differently. They sound differently. A lot of the riffs and ideas I come with on an electric guitar are going to be different than the things I come up with on an acoustic guitar. So, if you're like me, sometimes the shortest path to getting started with something, the more likely you are to do it. If I can pick this up and just start playing, I'll do it. If I have to I got to turn an amp on and plug in, and that means I got to be in a certain room, unless I want to carry the amp around. I can talk myself out of it really, really easily. Whereas with something like this, I can just grab, no excuses, grab it, turn it on, and it just works. It goes. So that's another great use of this technology, in my opinion. So again, the built-in speaker thing has turned out to be way more, in my opinion, than just some kind of novelty trick, just to show your friends. Like, it's actually useful and in a good way. A little bit more about the guitar itself. So, I mentioned you've got, standard humbucker setup, 3-position switch. You can push-pull. It takes the pickups from series to parallel. And then this knob, basically, you can turn on and off the guitar itself. This controls the volume of the effect. And then if you double tap it to pair with your Bluetooth device. One really cool thing while you have it connected to your Bluetooth device, be it your iPad, your phone, whatever, your mobile device, you can stream through it over Bluetooth, which means you can, queue up one of your favorite songs you want to play with, or a backing track or a practice track or whatever you want to do. And, you can just sit there and your device is over here. It's coming through the guitar. You're playing with it. No cables involved whatsoever. And it's fantastic. As far as, ports and connections go, we've got a USB-C for charging, a standard 1/4 inch, for running out to an amplifier, whatever you want to do with that. And we'll get to that in a minute. And then also an 1/8 inch for headphones if you just want to do some headphone practice. All right, so I want to take a minute just to talk about the guitar itself in terms of how it feels and how it plays. I really like it. I think it's a really beautiful guitar. I love the white, kind of a white matte finish. Plays and feels like a Les Paul. Has a nice little cut there that's comfortable. And on the back, the neck joints, nice and smooth. And to be honest with you, it stays in tune better than my Les Paul did from the factory, which, if you've owned Gibsons, that's not too much of a brag. But anyway, it stays in tune well. It plays really well too. All I do is tune it. Came right out of the box. And for a guitar that is on that level, I am very, very impressed with the fit and finish, the way it plays, the way it sounds. I have nothing bad to say about how this guitar looks, feels, and sounds for the price point it is. It's not going to feel and sound like, a $5,000 Les Paul or but apples and oranges, not the same thing. For what it is, I have nothing bad to say about how it plays and sounds. Okay, so we've talked about how much fun this guitar is in terms of having your own sound you're taking with you without needing cables and amps and all that stuff. Also being able to stream tracks through it and play along with your favorite tracks or backing tracks. All really, really cool stuff. But there's a couple of other things I knew the guitar could do, but honestly, I didn't know it could do it as well as it does. And those two things are using this guitar for direct recording and then running this guitar into the front end of an amplifier, essentially using the amp as a pedal platform, but having all your tones coming out of this guitar. So I'm going to show you both those instances, those use cases, and how well this guitar actually does those things. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to record the guitar directly into Ableton Live. You can use the DAW of your choice, it doesn't matter. I'm plugged straight into my audio interface. So what you're going to get to do is hear exactly how this guitar sounds, how the software sounds, because as cool as having a small speaker built into the guitar is, you're not getting the exact recreation of what the software is doing. So We're going to just record a couple tracks to let you hear what the guitar actually sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to flip over to the more crunchy sound. I'm going to arm the next track and just noodle around over that, just to let you hear what that sounds like. Okay, so now we can hear them together. So you get the point. You can come in and lay down tracks directly with this guitar. You don't have to load up plugins or use external pedals. It's really great. It really is. If I'm doing like a full-on, recording, professional level recording, I could definitely get away with using this for sure. Most likely, if I'm doing an album, I'm going to use something like the Line 6 Helix Native or Tone X, or just something, one of the top tier things. But that's not to take away from this guitar. It's just, if I'm going to go to the highest quality I can get, I'm going to use the highest quality plugins I have. But in terms of just being able to grab and go and get sounds down, get song ideas down really quickly, and have very usable tones, to be honest. This is great. If anyone's written music or riffs, like when they come to mind, you need to get them down, because once they're gone, they're gone. It's sometimes they just slip away and you don't remember them. And I've had situations before, I'm like, all right, I got an idea, come in the studio, open up Ableton, pull up some plugins, get everything right. And by the time I'm like ready to actually play, the inspiration's kind of left. It's kind of left the building. So this is really cool, I think, to be able to just quickly grab it and go and get ideas down. And like I said, I'm not unhappy at all with the tones. I think recorded directly, you get to hear how good the software sounds. This is another good feature of this guitar that I really wasn't expecting. When I opened the guitar or opened the box, I didn't expect to think I could plug this directly in and make some usable tracks with it. So another bonus. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this guitar straight into the front end of this Buddha amplifier. The EQ is set completely flat, bass, middle, trebles all on 12, and I'm going to play it just as is, and then I'm going to turn on the guitar modeling and let you hear what that sounds like as well, to see how we can transform it. Also, we can switch presets by pressing the main button on this guitar, so I'm going to go through clean, crunch, and some higher gain stuff. Also of note, I am using Enya guitar has this, basically it's a wireless. It's got this, this is the transmitter, the receiver's on the amplifier. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute, but it's pretty cool. It's, no brainer. It pairs right away out of the box. So just want to mention that if you wonder what's sticking out of the back of the guitar. So first things first, here is just the guitar running through the amp. Now I have the guitar turned on. This is the clean preset. All right, so I'm going to go to the crunch preset. We'll go to the distorted. And then the even more distorted. So really good range of tones, and all I've done is click this button to cycle through them. So, I could show up to an open mic or blues jam, whatever, plug, if they've got an amp, let me just plug straight in, and I've got basically 4 presets at the touch of a button, which is really quite cool, you know what I mean? So I can just be playing along and bring everything with me all in one go. Okay, so that's what this sounds like going through an amp, where we're basically using an amp as the just a clean platform, getting all the tones out of the guitar. So super cool, and not something I was expecting, to be honest. Again, I thought this guitar's got a built-in speaker, that's the whole thing, fun, and it is. But when I plugged it into a real amp and heard how I'm able to get a pretty good wide range of tones just by hitting one button on the guitar, I was pretty impressed, to be honest. Okay, one other thing that Enya Music sent me to take a look at along with the guitar is their wireless system. Now, this is it. It comes in a nice case. This case is very reminiscent of a case with like AirPods or something to that effect. It's a charging case. It lets you know what's going on with the charge level. And you pull these two out. Oop. Sorry about that. And basically, it's as simple as it gets. This is the transmitter and receiver. You hold the buttons down. They turn on. They're paired. Simple as that. You have meters on there, or lights, however you want to say it, on there to let you know if they're charged or not. And that's all it is. You plug the receiver into the amp, the transmitter into your guitar, you're good to go. Like it's as simple as it gets. They're like $70 on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. You know, back in the day, I started playing in the 90s, and you know, it was a whole thing to have a wireless system. You know, generally had like a rack mounted unit or something you had to sit on top of your amp, and then the box, and there's a 9-volt battery, and they never sounded great. You always lost, you know, you would lose some of the high end frequencies, and it was always a compromise. So this is as simple as it gets, and for the price, it's amazing. You know, I try to be fair and balanced in everything I'm talking about. The only thing I'll say about this that for me, I would have to kind of make a slight adjustment in how I use it is, when I play guitar on stage, I like to kind of jump around like an idiot and have a good time. And the way this sticks out of the bottom of the guitar, I can easily see myself, even though this is very sturdy, this is not flimsy at all, I can see myself bumping into something and potentially breaking it. So what I'm planning to do when I use it live is I'm probably going to actually Velcro this to my strap and just have an extension 1/4-inch cable going into the guitar where, you know, I don't have to worry about risking it because of my clumsiness of breaking this. But if you're not clumsy like me, that's not a problem. And then if you're putting this into a traditional Strat style guitar where the input jack's a little recessed, you wouldn't even have to worry about that. But just trying to be completely fair and let you know everything I think about when I think about using these products, because I always tend to think about things in a live environment because I love playing live. So that is the only caveat I would say to this, which, you know, using a little extension cable is a super easy fix to use this because these are great. I'm pretty floored with what you get for the money. So check it out. If you're in the market for a wireless, it does not get any easier than this. Now, as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about things that I thought could be better or improved on this instrument. One of the things I would like to see them do is to expand the offerings on the software side of it. Basically, you have like a deluxe reverb style amp and you have a Soldano style amp. You have a graphic EQ right after the amp model, which turns out to be a game changer in this setup. Like the way you can, you know, affect the tone and volume with that EQ is really monumental for the way the signal chain's set up. You also have a modulation block, you have a noise reduction, you have a delay block, and then you have a reverb block. I would love to see them expand this out, have more amp models, you know, have more options. I'd love to see a distortion block added in. So right now you can just have different presets where you can adjust the amp for clean to dirty, whatever, you know, you can accomplish it that way. But I think it would be really cool to have actual distortion models in there. Maybe have a little more of a flexible signal chain, like moving effect order around and stuff like that. You know, that would just be icing on the cake. It does what you need it to do, but you know, that would be one thing that if I had my wish list, I'd love to see that expanded out a little bit. Not a big thing, but one can wish. Okay, so now is there anything I don't like about the guitar? There's one thing that bugs me, if I'm being honest, and I spoke to Enya Music about this, and it's a little bit of a design limitation based on physics. Basically, if you have a loud preset with high gain and you're on the bridge pickup, because of the proximity of the speaker to the pickup, you can start to get some feedback. At a little bit, it's like, oh, it's kind of cool, getting a little feedback, and then at a lot, it turns into not the kind of feedback you want. Don't know if there's something they can do about this or not. Again, it's just if you were standing in front of a loud amplifier with your bridge pickup just right on it, it'd do the same thing. So it's not something they did wrong. But it is a thing. Of course, you don't also have to make the presets as loud as humanly possible, which is the first thing I did. Was I wanted it to be as loud as possible, and it can actually get pretty loud. But if you're going to get loud and you're going to have high gain, just know you're going to probably run into some feedback issues with the bridge pickup selected. Adjust the noise gate accordingly, and it can help cap some of that off. But again, that's not really a design flaw. It's just the nature of how sound works. So that's about the only actual knock on the guitar I could give you. Everything else just really works. I like I said, I wanted to give you my honest opinion. I don't want this to sound like an advertisement. I just don't have a lot of bad things to say about the guitar. It's exceeded my expectations. And again, being honest, when I first saw it, I'm like, I don't know, this might be fun to play around with, a little fun toy. No, it's much more than that. Much more than that. Okay, so at the end of the day, who is this instrument intended for, and who can get use out of it? To be honest, everyone. As far as beginners go, I think it's a no-brainer. Before you even have to buy your first amplifier, you can buy one of these, have your sounds, stream backing tracks through it to practice, take it anywhere you want to go, practice anywhere. I wish I would have had one of these 30 years ago, for sure. Past beginners, intermediate and up, there's still so much fun to be had with this thing. Like I mentioned in the last couple of weeks, as I've been kind of getting ready for this review, seeing what the guitar was about, I've played more than I've played in a while, and that's not a brag. I'm a little embarrassed to say how lazy I typically am when it comes to playing the guitar if I don't have a show to get ready for. But this has gotten me out of that. It's gotten me back to the point where I'm just sitting around playing for the fun of it, and that's a phenomenal thing. The other things I touched on in terms of direct recording and using this to run into an amplifier, I think those are definitely features that would suit an intermediate and up guitar player. Anyone can take advantage of that. To be able to just plug the guitar straight in to my audio interface and record and have really usable sounds, that's just really cool. That's a really cool feature. And I could definitely see showing up to a jam, an open mic or whatever with just this guitar, plug into whatever amps, whatever the backline is, and have good sounds and familiar sounds the way I have them dialed in and want them to sound right on tap. I can literally just show up with a gig bag, no pedals, no amps, nothing, and just go and have a good time. And that's beyond cool. I love that about this guitar, and that will get some use from me as moving forward with this guitar. The next time I have the opportunity just to go sit in and jam with some friends, if I know there's an amp there, this is all I'm bringing. So for the price point, I'm blown away. Like this, there's so many things this guitar does well. I've really, like I said, I thought it might be a kind of a novelty thing when I got it, and it turns out I've been playing this more in the past couple of weeks than any of my other guitars because it's so fun and convenient to do. So definitely exceeded my expectations. If you do want to check one out, there's going to be a link in the description below to see the guitar. It is an affiliate link, so if you buy through that link, it does help the channel out. It's a great way to support the channel, but only if you're in the market for one. I don't ever want to come on here and try to get you to buy something just to make a buck. But if you are in the market, also the wireless I showed earlier is going to be, there's going to be a link down there for that as well. But one way or the other, if you get the chance, check one of these out. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. If you have one of these, let me know what your experiences have been, or if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments, and I will be glad to do my best to address those. So as always, thank you guys for watching the video and checking it out. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun social media stuff. I do truly appreciate you guys. And until next time, we'll see you.